Hello, hello. Welcome back. It's been a while since I last uploaded, but today we're going to cover how I went from 1.3 million a month in Q4 down to half a million a month. So we've been we've been going down on a downtrend, and I'll basically explain why that happened, what I learned from that, how to avoid losing scale and staying consistent, and how you guys as well can avoid this as well. Learn from me and maintain your consistency with your scale. So this is going to be very valuable for everyone that is trying to maintain their scale. They're doing like six-figure months, and they're trying to maintain that or grow that. And I'm also going to explain how I'm going to grow. Also for beginners that are still testing and whatever, this will be helpful because once you find a winner and try to scale it, most people are going to fail and they're going to drop back to zero very soon. So this is going to be very helpful for basically um, everyone. So yeah, let's get to it. So before I mention anything about what happened, I wanted to explain the two kinds of work you do in your business. So there's two kinds of work: the risk mitigating tasks, and there's growth tasks. Mitigating tasks are things like customer service, customer experience, product quality, proper backend, logistics, and stuff like that, that basically prevent your business from breaking apart, and things that basically keep your business together. And then there's other tasks like growth tasks that grow your business, like on the front end, that have a direct impact on the growth to the business. And that's stuff like marketing, optimizing your AOV and your LTV, your team growth and training your team, testing funnels, offers, stuff like that, that directly impact your business on the front end. So I'm going to talk about how my brand, so basically let's move here. So why I lost scale, right? So now I'm going to talk about my brand and why I lost scale, and you can learn from this to avoid it. So pay attention. So number one, the biggest factor was obviously marketing and front end. And this is like the biggest reason why most brands end up failing and going down. um, so that's basically it. So for me, in my case, it was marketing and front end as the main reason. We scaled using 70% of our creatives in our ad account was ripped content. And that's very risky, right? We had very low output, from ourselves, from our team. And I basically got complacent. This was the first time I ever reached, seven-figure months. So I kind of got complacent, and I kind of um, let go of the gas pedal a little bit, if you will. And that's like a big mistake, obviously. And I mean, I guess we live and we learn. But I got complacent and stopped making new creatives and investing back into custom UGC, right? So I stopped investing into custom UGC and a proper team to help fuel this and continue with the growth and the momentum that we already have from Q4. Because there's a lot of brands that are smart, right? They take advantage of Q4, and they use the fuel and the momentum they have and carry it into Q1, Q2, and so on and so forth. um, However, this is not what I did. This was my first ever Q4, so um, it was the first experience for me. So obviously, that was a mistake that I've done, and that's a Q that the next this upcoming Q4 is going to be different. So carrying the momentum you have from Q4 is definitely very important as well. Not just having a great Q4. Because when you scale in Q4, obviously you're going to need different systems. You're going to need to change your backend. You're going to need to change a lot of things to be able to sustain this momentum moving forward. Like the same team and systems you have doing six-figure months is probably going to be pretty different at high seven-figure months. So yeah, that's what I learned. Yeah, so obviously optimizing my creative output, high quality creatives at a high volume. Second thing would be customer service. This is very basic, but it contributed to a little bit of the to the decline. Is we had only one agent responding to all emails, and The response times were from 1 to 2 days, which is very bad. That leads to high chargeback rates. Customers are angry, bad reviews, stuff like that. And it just really hinders the brand reputation and the growth and everything like that. So that's also one thing. I'm going to explain in detail right here. I'm going to explain, the solution to everything and how and how I plan to fix it. We've already fixed mainly everything, but um, logistics and fulfillment. This was very bad. So we scaled very quickly during Q4, and we were very behind on fulfilling inventory on time, and ran into many stock shortages with some SKUs, with our winning SKUs. So with Q4, I didn't really order in advance. I didn't really think ahead and order a lot in advance. So what happened was we scaled so aggressively that we were left with, I think, we were basically behind 2 weeks on orders, and we had to fulfill them, and that caused a lot of chargebacks and stuff like that. So it was very minor. However, like, I'd imagine, like, I don't know, like, this shouldn't have ever happen again, because 2 weeks, it doesn't sound too horrible, but you know at a higher scale, I would imagine it would be so much worse. But yeah, I mean, definitely thinking ahead and stuff like that is going to help with fulfillment. Like, this shouldn't ever um, be an issue. You know, even if you're at low scale, right? So let's talk about the most important. Actually, before I talk about the most important thing, which is the marketing side, because I'm going to go more in detail about that. I'm going to talk about the basic stuff, which is customer service. So for customer service, we fixed that by hiring new agents, which reduced our response time to 12 hours, which is pretty good. You can go lower, but there's really no point, I guess. You can also, as you scale and get more new customer service agents, you can hire a customer service manager, which basically oversees and manages all of them. But at low scale, you don't really need this. But yeah, having like SOPs for your customer service agents so they don't bug you with questions, because I don't know if you guys realized, when you're hiring a customer service agent, they don't know anything about your brand or anything. So having SOPs specifically tailored for your brand and more information about it is really helpful. So they don't keep like buzzing you with questions over and over and over again, just a waste of time. Yeah. So fulfillment, right here, yeah. For logistics and fulfillment, obviously having sufficient stock beforehand. Um, oh, I didn't even edit this. Okay, whatever. Well, I guess it's the same thing. It's really pretty straightforward. So having sufficient stock beforehand, like knowing, okay, you're gonna scale very aggressively. Okay, I'm gonna order stock beforehand. If you're not drop shipping, but if you're drop shipping, then make sure your factory and your 3PL are ready and are able to sustain higher growth, because I know many cases, and it also happened to me, where the factory wasn't able to reach the demand, and we had to look for a second factory, and it was just a whole mess. um, so yeah, make sure you contact your supplier and check with him if he's able to sustain X quantity for your growth. And yeah, because trust me, it's not like quick growth usually leads to quick downfall. So slow growth is usually the best. Making sure your background is really strong before you can grow is going to really help you, with maintaining consistent skill. So with the marketing, so this is like the most important thing. If you're going to pay attention in this video, this is the part where you want to pay attention, is the marketing and front end of your brand, right? So you're going to focus really hard on this, because this is why 90% of brands fail, is their marketing just sucks, right? So what we're going to do, what I've started doing, and implementing, is offer testing, funnel testing, and creative team, and improving that, right? So offer testing, we've been testing new offers, new pricing models, new gifts with orders. So I wanted to cover, actually, two methods of how I structure my offers. There's a lot of different methods, but those are kind of like the main ones that I do, which is free gift effect. I just made that term up. So free gift effect is, let's say you're offering two products, one of them, or yeah, two of the same products, right? Product A is $25, product B is 25. Instead of doing that, what you can do is you can just put all the price into just one product and then have the second one free. I'm pretty sure everyone knows about this, but for those who don't, it's a it's a good offer strategy. Pretty famous though, so yeah. Second thing is price anchoring. For those who don't know what price anchoring is, the way I do it is, let's say you have a buy one, buy two, and a buy three, and the buy one is $20. You price it as that, and then your buy two is $60, and then the buy three is $100, right? Instead of doing that, where it makes sense for a customer to buy one or buy two or buy three, like the buy three isn't appealing at all, and buy two isn't appealing at any as well, and the buy one isn't appealing. So the way you can do it is you can have the buy three, you can keep it as 100. You can put, what I like to do is keep the buy two as close as to the buy three as possible, and then the buy one, move it a little bit further. That way, it doesn't make sense for any customer to buy one, and it makes like it's such a good deal for them to buy three, right? Because if they buy one at the normal rate, it would be $120, but instead it's $100. And for that, and then for the buy two, it's close to the buy three, so the customers are going to be like, I'm just going to spend another $20 to get another one, which is less than the amount, hopefully that makes sense, but less than the amount if I just buy one. But yeah, I mean, you can just see, you just look at this um, visual here and kind of understand. But yeah, that's how I parse anchor, and it just makes sense for every customer to buy the buy three, and that boosts your AOV a lot. Yeah, so that's for offer testing. Obviously, these are not the only offers. There's so many other offers to test. You can just play around with them and see. Funnel testing. I've been really hard on funnel testing, like listicles, advertorials, white labeling. They're so good for scaling and maintaining scale for cold traffic, because the initial launch for your brand, usually you're gonna make most of your money from the warmer audience, right? You're gonna usually make your money from people at the bottom of the funnel, and to help you actually scale, you're gonna need to market to people at the top of the funnel, maybe, or not, maybe it is, you're gonna have to target those. So the best funnels for those are listicles, advertorials, and white labeling. And what white labeling is basically like running ads under like the UGC's page. So you can just make like a page under that UGC creator, and then upload the ads under there, so it doesn't seem like the brand is actually running it. And it's like, it doesn't seem like an ad, which works. It does decent, and you guys can test it. Um, Advertorials as well. I touched on this in one of my videos, so or you can just search it up. You can do whatever. Listicles as well. I also touched on that. But yeah, I mean, those are really good funnels. You lead them to those pages, and then you can have like an offer section where they can buy directly from that page, or you can send them to your product page. So yeah, I mean, you can test which one does better, but yeah, you can test which one does better. I mean, I'm not going to tell you which one does better, because it's pretty different. Like, I've had different performances, but it really depends on the traffic and everything like that. For creative team, that's another way to maintain scale. So for me, we've been increasing our creative quality and our creative intent, while increasing our output. That's by, what we're doing is we're having highly made SOPs for our creative team. So I'm making those SOPs for my creative team. I'm making like a Loom video just like this right here, and I'm basically explaining, or not explaining, I'm basically just doing the task on camera live. for my team to just basically like understand how I do it. And yeah, they basically just copy me, and that's how we create high quality and high intent ads creatives. So we just have tons of SOPs. And yeah, the second point is finding the right hires and training them. Um, Finding key players is definitely very important. There's times where I've made like not so great hires where they didn't they kind of hindered the brand growth and they wasted our brand's resources. So having a good funnel for your hiring process is very, very important. People kind of like neglect that. I can make a separate video, but having a hiring funnel is just it's just a long topic that I just can't cover in this video, but I might in another one. Fixing weaknesses within the team. So if you spot a weakness within the team, let's say an editor is consistently delaying content output, that needs to be addressed quickly, right? You either need to, you need to communicate with the person first, see why there's this delay. If he keeps repeating it, then obviously we part ways. But every weakness needs to be addressed as soon as possible, so it doesn't affect the entire team and it just causes a whole disease in the team and the whole system. Everyone on the team. So point four, everyone on the team has to have a vision and an incentive to grow. If everyone on the team, doesn't know what the goals are for the brand and how, like what on the team needs to know where this brand is going to be in the next year, 2 years, 5 years, whatever. Whether it be to sell, whether for it to be $100 million brand. Everyone needs to have a vision for the brand. Without a vision, then there's really no way for them. Like they don't know what they're working for. Basically, you're just working for a salary. And also, an incentive is very important. Everyone on the team needs to. You guys need to give proper incentives and bonuses for your team. That way, it's fair for them to also, because they're also part of the brand. So, giving them very good incentives and bonuses is a good way to appreciate their effort, and to also, um, you know, the more you treat your team well, the better they will do better for your brand. So that's just basically how I think about it. So it's really good to treat them well as well. Five, everything is systemized and very smoothly and very smooth, I guess. Yeah. So everything is systemized and very smooth. Make sure like your whole creative team is very smooth. Like there's no friction in every step of the creative, and everyone just knows like everything is just very smooth. I guess it's just pretty self-explanatory. A good feedback loop is a good feedback loop is very important. Let's say your creative team outputs like 100 creatives a day or a week, but there's no feedback loop. The issue here would be there's no growth. So your team makes 100 creatives a week, and let's say two of them hit, and next week same thing, next week same thing. Then it's just a wasting resources. One, and second thing is there's no growth, right? So that's a huge issue. So having a good feedback loop where weekly on a weekly basis, you guys review the creatives you've made from last week maybe, and see which ones performed better, which ones performed good. Take all those and analyze them very, very deeply, and see why they performed well, what metrics in like KPIs they reached, and basically just doing a deep dive. What funnel performed well, and stuff like that. You have to understand what's working so you can double down and kind of like branch out and make new iterations and stuff like that. And also analyze what didn't work. So let's say you guys have had a new angle that you wanted to test, and that angle just flopped, completely flopped. You have to understand why that angle didn't work. Maybe that angle is a winning angle, but you tested it using a wrong funnel. Maybe you guys the visuals that you used weren't very very appealing. Maybe the UGC creator himself or herself wasn't a good fit for that specific angle. So you guys have to have a feedback loop for both winning and losing creatives. Yeah. So let's go here. Yeah, as I said, most brands die because of a marketing team, a proper marketing team. or just like a creative funnel basically, or a creative system. Sorry. So this should be your number one focus, right? So your number one focus should be this, because 80%, I just made that number up, but majority of brands lose scale because of that, and that's why I lost that momentum. So as you can see from my new customer ROAS in Q4 of 2024, I was at a 2.48 NC ROAS, which is very, very good. Um, and Q1 we dropped to 0.98 ROAS. So quick side notes here, for you guys is to prioritize NC ROAS and NC CPA over the normal ROAS. The difference is NC stands for new customer, right? So you should always prioritize acquiring new customers instead of spending again to acquire old customers. It's good to retarget customers again in Facebook ads. Is obviously very good, but it doesn't grow your business, right? What grows your business is acquiring new customers and maintaining them, right? So that should be your goal. Facebook is really good for acquiring new customers, and then in the back end you should have a really strong back end to maintain those customers, and that's what really builds an empire. So prioritizing NC ROAS is very, very crucial. And then obviously you can have those retargeting campaigns, holiday campaigns, those are also amazing. But yeah, that's like for growth and scalability, NC ROAS. Figuring out some sort of way to increase returning customer rate to afford high NCCPA. So let's say your LTV is your lifetime value of a customer is, let's say, $300. What that means is you can probably spend $200 to acquire a customer. Obviously, it is not ideal to spend that much, but um you can probably afford it, right? On a long enough horizon, you can afford it, and you were on a long enough on a long sorry, why am I glitching like that? On a long enough timeline, you can afford that NCCPA, right? And the ways you can do that is by implementing MRR, which is monthly recurring revenue, where customers come back every month and pay you, and you can do that through product refills or offering like benefits to monthly subscribers, right? So MRR is like probably the best way to do that. If you can implement some sort of MRR to your store, that it's just really good. Another way to increase your returning customer rate is by adding new product launches, right? New product launches is always going to attract your old customers to buy from you again and again, and that's really good for optimizing your LTV and high returning customer rate. Other point is to add some sort of monthly program. I mean, it kind of ties back to MRR implementation, but for people that are selling products that like customers don't need every month, let's say like a fitness product, a physical fitness product, like customers there's no point for them to subscribe, but what you can do is you can add a fitness program, like a weight loss program right here, to basically give those customers every month like a program for their weight loss or how to train or a physical trainer or something like that. And they can basically just subscribe to it every month. Like you can be creative with it. Another way is to actually make your product good and reinvest into R&D. R&D is research and development, and that's what we've done personally with our product. We've spent tons on R&D, and R&D is really good because it improves your product quality. If you do the right R&D, obviously, you improve your product quality, you improve the customer satisfaction, and basically you have a higher return rate because obviously customers are experiencing good results with your product. So R&D is really good if you want to build a long-term brand, and if and you're looking to exit. But yeah, some of you might question, how am I still profitable despite a low ROAS? So believe it or not, with this new customer ROAS from Facebook and Google with a point 0.9, we're still very profitable. I think, not gonna lie, we've been at the same profit margins as Q4, and the reason being is because of MRR, right? We have huge MRR plays, LTV plays, and AOV plays in our funnel that it just makes us super hard to break. Um, and we can basically maintain, we can afford really high CPAs. So for us, we have MRR, right? Our point one is we have MRR, we have a high take rate, and we have low churn. And the reason we have low churn is we provide value to our customers. um, I don't want to explain too much of, just our backend, but we are currently building like an application for those customers that are um, in the MRR program, and we provide discounts for discounted products for them, and they really seem to love it. But yeah, that's how we reduce our churn, and we also have the offer in a way where there's a high take rate. But yeah, that's, I guess we that's a whole new video in itself. For LTV, that's also very important. More SKUs on the brand. We have so many SKUs, not too many, but we have reasonable amount of SKUs where customers can just come back and purchase. Um, yeah, we also launched a few new customer SKUs, or a few new SKUs that customers wanted to see on our store, and we first launched them to our email list to just kind of gauge if those SKUs would perform, and then if they did, then we would launch it on Facebook ads. If they didn't, there's no need for us to launch on Facebook ads because we already know it's not a winning SKU. Um, but yeah, third point is AOV. AOV is very important. The way you can optimize that, and the way I've optimized it for our brand, and obviously we haven't reached the best in all these 3 points, but it's a massive improvement from Q4. So that's why I'm sharing, and these are the things that we've been doing. So the things I've personally done is post purchase funnel. So we have a very like we have a large step by or not a step, a multi-step funnel in our, like, after the customer purchases, which boosts our LTV or our AOV. So it's really good to keep testing those funnels and seeing which funnel performs best. I know a lot of people that just go with one funnel and then they just leave it for a whole year. And the problem with that is that if you don't keep testing those funnels over and over and over again, you might be losing on so much revenue. It's ridiculous the amount of revenue you could be losing. So I recommend that you guys could keep testing your post purchase funnel. A lot of people test their front end funnel, but very few people actually test their back end funnel. Point B is bundling with other products. Obviously, if you have complementary products with with your main SKU, then bundling it with other products increases your AOV as well. Point C is increasing price, especially with the tariffs coming. Increasing price could definitely work on some brands. On some brands, it's probably not the optimal thing to do, but I've seen increasing price probably is the easiest thing to boost your AOV, to boost your AOV. It's actually ridiculous. Like, you can literally increase your product by $10, or okay, not $10, but by like 20 to 10 to 20%, and you probably wouldn't see a drop off. You might even see an increase in your sales and your ROAS just because you've tricked the customer to believing that your product is higher quality or they perceive your value more. But yeah, I mean, it's a good thing to test. You guys can split test it and see how it goes. Um, the point here with increasing price is it's probably not optimal for those running MRR. So let's say your brand is, you're optimizing for MRR, you're optimizing for new customers. That then increasing price might not be the best reason. I mean, it can be if you also want to acquire MRR and build front end profit. But if your goal is to solely build MRR, then it might not be the best reason to optimize that, because most brands that acquire monthly recurring subscribers, they usually like to break even, or even lose a little bit of money on the front end, because that basically indicates that they're kind of like pushing the max on acquiring new customers. um, because they're basically going to make their money on the next month or the second or third month. But for those starting out, it's probably not the optimal path to take, because the amount of cash flow it takes is a lot, and it requires a lot of skill and just strong systems to ensure month over month growth. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Um, Hope you guys learned from this little thing here. I just wanted to share what I've learned over the past few months. Obviously, I mean, if you guys already know this, which I know a few people definitely know about all this, it's just good reinforcement and to just take action on those. Like, maybe like I probably knew all of this before, but I never actually implemented this, and I was just talking about it. But implementation is the most important thing. Like, just don't store all this into your brain and do nothing. Right? You can store all that. You can keep watching YouTube videos until the end of time, but your business won't actually grow. The most important thing is to actually implement, and that's when you see growth. So yeah, thank you guys for sticking to the end. Hope you guys found something valuable. If you want to see specific content from me or anything, if you have any recommendations, drop it in the comments below. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching.